Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's presentation. My name is Owen Lacey. I'm going to be your host for today's webinar workshop. So what I'm going to try and do is keep this content, if I can, around 30 minutes. I've scheduled 45 minutes, but I don't want to take up your Saturday morning. And for those guys joining us later down the line, I don't want to take up too much of your weekend. So what I'm going to cover here is, throughout this presentation, our main, whoops, what's going on here? Always some malfunction going on. Just see. Okay, so the topic today is going to be how to make your staff training. There we go, too fast. How to make your staff training, your workshops and meetings excellent. Now, as part of my career, I was always looking after training staff, whether it be training staff in work, whether it be training football teams, whether it be delivering presentation to corporate wellness in my own business. And then moving on, I've had the benefit of attending multiple seminars, workshops, and continuous my own education. And what you find is a lot of people focus on the information to be delivered on a workshop or a staff training or in a meeting. And it's not necessarily around the environment, about setting the stage, about collaboration, about communication. It tends to be a lot of times about the person speaking. So for example, this presentation today, it is not about me. It's about you investing time of your valuable weekend to get information that you can implement tomorrow. The next staff training you have, the next staff training you attend, the next workshop you run or you attend. My goal is that you see it differently. You see areas of opportunity where you can refine it, you can take it to the next level. And when you look at things from this point of view, you'll see yourself like stand out from the crowd. And when it comes to progressing in a career, I know a lot of colleagues and clients and executives that are exceptional at their job when they go to present or to speak or to negotiate or go to these big meetings, they don't come across to their best self. So being a peak performer, not only in your job, but also when you are delivering content, when you are hosting workshops and when you have meetings and events, it needs to be excellent. And what I say to all my guys is the extra mile is never busy. So people don't go above and beyond. And when we do go above and beyond, that's where we really stand out. That's when we close these deals. That's when we recruit the new staff. That's when we hit the new targets. That's when we motivate and inspire and encourage our team, our business, and our companies to move forward. So key thing I want to get across today is we've all seen this before, excuse me. The event plus the reaction equals the outcome. So for me, in a situation, if we go in and we plan a workshop, well, what's the goal of the workshop? Who's going to be attending the workshop? And how do I expect the people attend this workshop to react? And for me, a lot of people, when they go to workshops, sitting down and being present in that meeting doesn't actually mean be present. You need to engage, you need to collaborate, you need to communicate with the people at that meeting, because if you're at that meeting, it means that you bring something to the table. So one of the presentations I give in corporate wellness is about food. And I say to people, at your breakfast, at your lunch, and at your dinner, treat it like a business meeting. The people at your business meetings are there for a reason. They serve a purpose. They bring something to the table. So the food that you eat, what does that bring to the table? Is it bagels and donuts and croissants? That's not bringing quality information, quality contribution to that meeting. So they may not be at that. They shouldn't be at that meeting. But my main point there is when it comes to being present at a meeting, it's not just about the host. It's not just about the team leader. It's not just about the person giving the presentation. You have to actively take a role for the success of that meeting and understand what the goal is of that meeting in the first place. So what we're going to talk about now is how that what event have you ever been to that was excellent? So what makes an excellent event? For me, if it comes to my staff and when I do my corporate wellness or I work with a technology team or a pharmaceutical company, for me, it's the outcome must be achieved and everyone must know their role. So for example, I'm not a big football fan, but if we look at it from a football team point of view, everybody on the football team has a role. The goalkeeper, the midfielder, the forwards, the substitutes, the reserve goalkeeper, the kit man, the physio, the doctor, the manager, they all have a role for the success of the team, of the club. Now, you might think that it's not important that they have people in the seats, but if they didn't have people in the seats or the television rights, they wouldn't have the money to pay the players. So everybody contributes at a different level. So for you, when you look at an outcome, well, what is the outcome? Is it just getting through the meeting? Is it just flicking through the slides? Is it just ticking the box that your staff have been trained with these standard operating procedures? Is it going through this new app that they need to understand and have been cleared off from a health and safety point of view, or a human resource point of view that they've done the training, it can always go a bit more. You're upskilling your staff. You're showing these apps. You're upskilling the different levels in your business, so you can be a better business. You can perform better. So understanding what the outcome is meant to be and understanding what an excellent experience is. We all have to work. We all have to do our jobs. But there's going through the motions, and there's being present in the actual content itself. So staff training. What I want you to do is think about the last staff training you were at. How many people were at it? What was the goal of it? Was the presenter from inside the company, or was it brought from outside in? What room was it in? How well was it lit? What was the ventilation like? What was the spacing like? What were the chairs like? What was the setup like? Was it all presentations? Was it interactive? Was there regular breakouts? And when you start to think about this, you realize that when you teach adults, and I've had a really fortunate background when it comes to doing adult education, training kids, and having 4 kids myself, I understand that it's a very different dynamic training kids or educating kids than it is educating adults. So what we need to do is we need to inspire, we need to motivate adults to learn information. We need to engage information in the actual practice. So if you're teaching somebody information, it's very important that that information is relevant to that person. It's relevant to the challenges they have in their business. So for example, I did a presentation recently for AIB. And what I needed to know is, it was the mortgage department of AIB. I need to know what challenges these guys had in relation to shift work-life balance, which is no such thing. Let me just say that it's work-life integration. But what challenges they have from a time point of view, from a time poor point of view, from a nutrition, from a travel, from a commute, from how much time they were on the computer, were they dealing with different countries? What was their stress levels like? What was their hydration levels like? What was their downtime like? How are they managing their stress? So when I gave my presentation, I was trying to give information that was relevant to their challenges. And if I say to you, okay, I'm going to tell you how to fix a sore knee. This is the one exercise or the one rehabilitation movement that's going to fix a sore knee. And if you have a sore knee, your ears just picked up, oh, wow, he's going to say something that I'm interested in. So when you're giving staff training, one, it has to be relevant and specific to the people that are attending the workshop or the staff training, and it must align itself with the goal of your business. Just giving staff training for staff training's sake doesn't make any sense. It has to be align yourself with the roles of the people in your company, and it has to be delivered in a way that is it's taken in by the staff itself. So the last staff training you were at, were you asked to give any feedback? Were you challenged on the information that you learned? One of the little things that we do at our workshops is I go around the room at least 6 times a day, and I ask the people, what was the most relevant piece of information that you learned today? Or a question. So what people say is, oh, well, I learned how to rehab a lower back, or I learned how to find out food allergies, or I learned how to improve sleep. And then I ask, well, what does that mean? I want you to explain it to me like you went home and told your sister or your brother or your kids or your husband or your wife. And when you can relay information in layman's terms, so complicated information, if someone's learned it from a workshop or a staff training and then can go home and relate it to somebody else, that means you fully understand it. Now, staff training might be too technical. That might not be information you can relate to to other people at home. But if you can share it to me, the presenter of the information, it shows me that you understand it. And if you found something really like that was a real nugget of information, maybe throughout the webinar, someone else, or through the staff training, someone else had a brain fart, which happens a lot. People just disengage. So if you have a room of 20 or 30 people and you give it 5 minutes for them to ask a question, or to give it a piece of information they really found, informative and powerful, it gives everyone in the room that opportunity to say, oh, I missed that point. What was that again? Oh, that's brilliant. Great. I got that. Or if somebody asks a question, they weren't sure on something, I can guarantee you other people in the room may have had that question and didn't feel comfortable to ask the question in the first place. So having these regular breakouts is fundamental, not only to the delivery of the content, but to comprehend and understand how well the people at the event are understanding information. And from a presenter or a host point of view, it gives you direct feedback, whether if you explain the information is relevant enough, is explained correctly enough, and it's been comprehended, because you have to refine your delivery system. And one of the things that I push all my staff and I push all my team when we do corporate events and workshops is that it's not about us. It is about the attendees, it's about the staff, it's about the ultimate goal of the company and the team. So you have to deliver the content in a way that is understandable, retainable, and reproducible by the people that are at the event. So let's have a little focus. The last staff training you were at, how was it delivered? What was the preparation before? What was the content delivered during? And what was the result afterwards? And if you found yourself going to the staff training and going, oh God, I have to go to the staff training, it's not going to be beneficial. If you go in that mindset, you go in that frame of mind, you're not going to be a positive contribution to that staff training. You're going to be seen as someone that's an energy vampire or someone that's negative. You want to go to that staff training as an opportunity to upskill yourself, to showcase your skills, your collaboration, your communication, to be a key part of that team. So hopefully you can progress through the team and upskill and educate yourself so you can enhance your career. Don't see staff training as one of these things again. See it as an opportunity to enhance yourself. And when you go to meetings, we've all been there where staff training is going on and there's negative Nelly in the corner, or there's someone that always is giving out about something. That's not the situation to do that. There's other situations that should be addressed. If someone is negative, they shouldn't be in the meeting in the first place. If someone wants to outgas problems, this is not the time. The speed checks that I talked about on my courses, your appraisals and your performance reviews, that's when you address those issues. So you want everybody on the team moving forward. And staff training is an opportunity to align our focus, our mission statement, to align how well we work together, to collaborate, to support each other, to allow us to work better as a team. Next we have is workshops. So workshops normally will be done from an outside person coming in. It doesn't always have to be. For me, for the earliest part of my career, I was hosting workshops for another company and then I took it on myself. However, when you do a workshop, most of the time you have to pitch to do a workshop. You have to draw people in. It's not something that's maybe done inside your business itself. So a workshop, the content, the information has to be very relevant to the niche market that you're going towards. So your personas, your avatars has to be well focused, and you need to do your due diligence in the industry to make sure whatever you're going to be delivering, whatever content it is, whatever section of the industry you're in, needs to make sure that it's relevant, scientifically validated, supportive, usable, applicable information. Then, to be honest with you, if I want to learn something, I can go onto the internet, I can get the content. If I want to buy a book on Amazon, I can just get it. So people aren't necessarily attending a workshop for the content, although that is a driving force, but they're attending a workshop for the benefits that attending a workshop give. So let me say that again. They're not necessarily attending a workshop for the information, because the information is out there. They can get this content somewhere else, but they don't want the hassle to read the book. They don't want the hassle of looking at 10 hours of videos. They don't want the hassle of interviewing 15 different experts in this industry to get the information. They want to attend a workshop. They want to be engaged in the content. They want an experience. They want the information, but not baby fed to them. They want it in bite-sized, usable, understandable, applicable information. That's our job as workshop hosts, as educators, as facilitators, as continuous education providers, to give them an experience. And what we need to do is we need to sugarcoat them. I like to look at it as a whole experience when they sign up. What the syllabus is going to be, what the content is going to be, where the location is going to be. For me, I like to give people lanyards so their names are on it, so other people can engage, or me as a presenter, I can say, hey Mary, welcome to the seminar. I see you're from Chicago, you've been to some of our workshops before, and you mainly focus on maybe rehabilitation or mindset, or you're a psychologist, or you're into pharmaceuticals, whatever it may be. But having that lanyard allows that experience, the rapport, so all the coffees, the breakouts, the lunches, people can interact. And for me, I like to have my staff move around, or my team move around and talk to people, engage during lunch breaks, so people communicate together, and that makes a better experience. So we can all listen to Beyonce on CD, we can download it from Spotify, but people still go to concerts, or well, they used to go to concerts, because of the atmosphere, because of the environment. So when you develop a workshop, yes, it's about the content. Yes, it's about upskilling your staff. Yes, it's about bringing somebody in and bringing up their education, but it's about the delivery of the content, the setup of the room. For me, I'm a big fan of having music on when people come to sign up for a workshop, and music on at lunch breaks and a coffee break, to make it all comfortable, and have staff move around and engage with everybody with their names. For me, I like the room to be over-delivered, not some room where you're sitting on a box or a bench or a ball, that you're in a proper convention room, or you're in a proper meeting room with the right amount of light. There's toilets located, there's coffee, there's tea, there's snacks if need be, there's comfortable chairs. Again, one of the things I learned from one of my mentors is energizers. Every 45 minutes, I get guys up to move, whether that be just to move around, to shake their shoulders, to stretch it out, but to refocus. It's important when you talk to adults that you need bite size. There's a principle called the Pomodoro method. And the Pomodoro method is a time management system where 20 minutes is where people can really focus. So I might deliver content for 20 minutes. I might stop. I might do those, feedback. What did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn? Do half the room. Everybody stand up, shake their legs out, sits down. We do another 20 minutes, of content, and then I do another half of the room. Then we've come to about an hour. They stand up, they move around, they might get a coffee, a glass of water. We sit down. Pardon me, we go again. The point being is that people are staying engaged. And if I say to you in the audience, well, what did you learn from Owen's workshop today? What did you learn? You go, oh, what did I learn? So think about it now. We're a few slides in. If you were to share with somebody the information that I've shared so far, what would it be? And by putting that pressure on you, you're going, what would I give? But if somebody beside you, Joe or Mary, is asked a question and they have to go, oh God, he might ask me a question. In the back of your mind, they're going to have to ask you a question. I do this drill, I call it Mr. Miyagi. We've probably all seen Karate Kid. At the end of the Karate Kid, he does the crane kick. So what I say to everyone in the audience is when I say Mr. Miyagi, you have to stand up. And the last person to stand up has to sing a song, tell a joke, or do a dance. Now, the minute I do that, it sets the fear of God into people. So people are listening out for Mr. And I might say Mr. Jones or Mr. Murphy, and people begin to jump up. But what it does, it gets people engaged. It gets people, listening to the content. If you're listening now for Mr. Miyagi, you probably did it at home yourself. If you're at home, if you're at a seminar and that's going on, you're not thinking about the phone. You're not thinking about work. You're thinking about being present in the moment. And that's what we want. We want the workshop to be an experience. We want an excellent sign-up, registration. We want a good instruction of the location, the map sent to them beforehand. We want the lunch all organized. We want the coffees on the lunch breaks. We want the lunch, for the team to be moving around and networking constantly. We want a bright, fresh room. We want visually, we want to be able to see all the slides. And it's not, like I see this all the time where people have put so much text in the slide. They're like, you're not delivering the slide, you're delivering the information. The slide is a support. So if you have a lot of content, well, maybe why don't you send them 4, 10 or 15 minute videos on information that they should watch before they come. So they're already on the same page. And then if people come, one of my big driving forces is, well, why are you here? Why did you attend this webinar today? It's because I wanted to learn how to structure workshops, or I wanted to learn how to change my staff training, or I go to meetings all the time. I wanted to upskill myself and know what else can be done. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cover what's already out there. During the lockdown over the last 2 or 3 years, I've studied so much on how to structure these, and there's no set structure, there's no set template, but going above and beyond, putting yourself into the person that's attending the meeting, staff training, or workshop, that's what the difference is. Looking after all the components from when people walk into the hotel or the meeting room or wherever the convention is going to be, is over-delivering on the greeting, on the networking, of understanding the benefits of why this person's here, and then delivering the information so that when they leave that workshop, they go, man, I can really implement what I've learned there. It was understandable. I liked the atmosphere. I liked the setup. I had an opportunity to share my questions and share my challenges with the presenter, and he was able to help me, or she was able to help me go through a system of how I can take this information and implement it into my job to help my team, to help my business, and to help my company progress. And the last area we have is meetings. So meetings go on all the time. And over the last, I'd say, 9 to 10 years, I've been consulting with different companies, and sometimes I'm at these meetings going, I don't think I add any value to these meetings. I think I'm just here because I'm a shareholder or I'm an investor into it. I don't feel like I'm necessarily should be at these meetings. And that's one of the big things, that when people are at meetings, they should be there because they contribute. So good solid research out of Sweden saying any more than 7 people at a meeting, it dilutes it. It takes too long to get across the concentration, or it gets too, people don't have their time to say it, to speak, or to contribute to the meeting. So I like to keep meetings relatively small. Now, obviously, bigger meetings may need more people, and that just be the way of your business is. But how the meetings is structured, and if you have a system, and this is one of the things I love, when you have a system or a process that is automatic, that everyone knows this is how we set up the meeting, this is how it's delivered, everyone has their talk, everyone has their moment to give some contribution. to give some feedback or pitch whatever they're doing or whatever the goal of the meeting is. Whenever knows that system and it's automatic, it allows them to sort of, drop down a gear and then allow the brain to work more on collaboration, more on innovation. Because if you're always focused on the process because it's always new or it's random, it doesn't allow the people in the meeting to be creative. It doesn't allow the people in the meeting to be innovative and start to process the thing because they're focusing so much on actually doing the meeting. But when it's structured, it's systemized, it's a process, it allows people just to let it go and then go, you know what, I think I could help here, or maybe we could do this differently. So, taking that system off, the same way, let's say you're in a hotel and there's an accident report system. Somebody hurts themselves and you have to fill an accident report. If the staff don't know what the system is, they're running all over the place, looking for a manager, looking for a form, looking for a first aid kit. But if there's the system, they go to the system, they follow through it, so it's automatic, and that's when they can have the attention to detail to really look after the person, to make them comfortable in that environment. So when we have systems that allow staff, it allows the staff members to be more creative, more attention to detail, to go above and beyond, because already there's a system in place. And that's when we structure meetings in a set way, where there's a set agenda set out, and we'll go through all this now in a moment, but it's about getting the results, about getting the company to be more profitable, to work together, to collaborate better, and to be a better working environment. So this is the biggest thing. So I've had a huge benefit in my career to work, to coach, to consult with some big businesses and big executives. And one of the things that I learned this the hard way, and when I heard it and when it was pointed out to me, I went, oh my God, I need to nail this. Due diligence. We need to do more. For some reason, I'm not particularly old, I'm 41, but I find a lot of, not necessarily young people, it could be young people, old people, people from any part of the world, doesn't matter what sex, people, I find there's areas that could do more. But what else can we do? What else can you do? What else can you do to be better? So when you think about your staff training, your workshop or your meetings, and let's say you have a set system at the moment of what you do, but what else can you do to make it better? I'll ask you a question. What else can you do? Or well, I can have better lights, or I can better projector screen, or I can have props, or I can pre-record some of the information to send out beforehand. What else can you do? Or maybe I can send a summary video out afterwards for feedback. Brilliant. What else can you do? Well, I can prepare, I can rehearse, I can go over the slides, I can reduce the amount of slides, I can increase the atmosphere, or maybe I can bring somebody in or get a video from somebody that's done this before as a case study and how they have found the information. But what else can you do? We can always go more. And just going through the motions, just ticking a box, that's not due diligence. We need to go above and beyond. And when you go to a nice hotel, or you go to a Michelin star restaurant, or you get into first class on a plane or business class on a plane, what do we see? We see the staff going above and beyond. We see the service, we see the atmosphere, we see the cutlery, the chair, the champagne, we see the lounges. People go above and beyond. Yes, that costs a bit of money, I understand that, but it's the attention to detail. It's going above and beyond. It's when you go back into your restaurant and the waiter says, welcome back home, nice to have you again with your wife, and here's I've ordered a bottle of wine that you like, or here's the table that you like. And that's that attention to detail, that due diligence, that's what the top service is. And that's what's been excellent is. I trained this executive one time, and he had a guy working from, and he came up to me after the training session. He said, "Owen, was that an excellent session?" I said, "It's pretty good." He goes, No, was it an excellent session?" I said, "No, it wasn't an excellent session. No, to be honest with you, it was really good, but it could have been better." "Well, what could you have done differently?" "Well, I could have set this up and set this up and set this up." He just looked at me. Okay, so there's always a situation in all aspects of our life, whether it be with our family, with our friends, with our work colleagues, with growing our business. There's something always else you can do. I have people ask me all the time, "I don't have time to eat," or "I don't have time to go to bed," "I don't have time to do some more study." There's always time. And this is the thing, we waste a lot of time. So if we look back on, and again, this is me breaking down your schedule, but there's always areas of opportunity. The kids, the house is crazy in the morning, can't get up. Well, maybe you get up an hour earlier, you do your reading, you do your stretching, you do a little bit of training, you prep your food, and off you go. So there's always areas where we can put more focus, more time. Or if you don't know what to do, find someone who can. So there's a really good book called Not the How, the Who. So find out who you need to align yourself with or collaborate with. Maybe you're teaching workshops and you're not great at it. I've gone to many seminars. Own the Room was a company that I've gone to many times. I've gone to these guys and asked them to refine my presentation, to look at my slideshow, to help me slow down. I'm Irish, I talk really fast, I've got a thick accent, but that's my unique selling point. That's my unique speaking tone. Where I do a webinar, people can slow it down. They can speed it up. They can pause it. So that's a good way. And look, there's no feedback. I can't get any feedback from this webinar, but the situation is when I send it out there, hopefully I will get some feedback. But there's always areas that we can improve, and due diligence for me is critical. I'm actually opening a new gym in the city centre this month. And one of the things is I want to get that across to people. But if you're a manager or a team leader, you can't expect people to understand that, to go above and beyond, unless you tell them to do that. So that's actually why I came out with a course of how to be excellent as a coach, trainer, and gym owner. That's my section of the audience. That's where I work. That's where my major business is. I am involved in some other aspects, but my main focus is gym, is training, is performance and nutrition. So what I've done is I've reached out, I try to find out what the limiting factor was for trainers to go above and beyond, and it's time. They work for themselves, they do shift work, they work on the weekend, and they don't know what course to do. So what I've done here is I did a course that was 5 minutes long. You can do that. Everyone has a coffee once a day, I'm sure, or a cup of tea. It's 30 days long. So they get a video every single day, and it tells them what to do. So the situation is I can't tell you necessarily to go above and beyond, but I'm going to show you the benefits of doing that. And for me, you can't expect staff, you can't expect your team, you can't expect your company to act a certain way if you haven't drawn attention to that. Then, and I can't stress this enough, when you ask somebody to do something, you can't just expect them to do it without showing them how to do it. Don't come at me with problems, come at me with a solution. So when I say to the guys, you need to step your game up, I need you to collaborate more, that's not good enough. I need to say, guys, we need to work better, and this is how we're going to do it. This is the program we're going to do. So if you're going to upskill your staff, if you want to make everyone on the team work that bit better, show them how to do it. Lead from you. You need to be a leader in this field. So if you're interested in that presentation, maybe you're not in this field at all, or you know somebody, the code for today is going to end on Monday night. It's webinar 50 for 50% off. But I'll move off that sales pitch now. So one of the things, the most important thing that I feel in life is time. So we have the return of investment, and it's not necessarily money. No matter how much money you have in the world, you can't go back in time, you can't extend your time. Yes, it might give you more access to hospitals and so on, but if your time is up, your time is up. No matter how much money you have, it's not necessarily going to change it. So when you have people at your workshops, your seminars, your staff training, your meetings, they're investing time. So it's fundamentally important that we utilize that time as best as we can. We respect it, and we use that investment in their time like money, and we add it into the progression of your team and the progression of your business. It's not just about, we need to do this annual meeting or this quarterly meeting, or we need to go through the targets. No, use this meeting, use this investment of your time, of your team's time, of your company's time to advance the team, to collaborate the team, to work better, to perform better, to assess things, to liaise off each other, to see where I can get help from this person or how we can refine things. But we have to be more. We have to do more. Action. Talking. My pet hate is where people come and they talk. You go to the next meeting and nothing's been done. Action. Now, having said that, let's say, for example, recently I did a talk for a gym company about sales and marketing and engaging in new leads or people coming into the gym, and how we get a mission and a team of business for everyone in the company. But if I had the sales team constantly selling memberships, bang, getting the memberships out there, really getting high numbers, but they're reducing so much that the gym isn't making profit, well, that makes no sense. So they're making action, but they're not making profitable actions. So there's actions that are futile, that are not making money for the company and putting more stress on it. So it's about having action. But in order to understand, we need to know everyone's roles. What is my role as a goalkeeper? What's my role as a manager? What's my role as a kit person? What's my role as a cleaner? What's my role as a team leader? Everyone needs to know their roles. So that's the breakdown of the job description. And then as a person on the team, when you know that that's the person's role, you can lean on those. So let's say you are a gym manager. It is fundamentally important that you know what the sales team say to people that come in. If you're a personal trainer, a gym instructor, people come into your class, well, why did they sign up to the gym in the first place? If you're a team leader in a pharmaceutical company or HR recruitment, well, why do people want to get into this job? And where did they study? And what other place have they been? And How do they communicate with other people? What areas of their skill set do they feel they need to improve? So when you understand people's roles and job descriptions, you understand their investment in their time, what sort of goals the company is going to go towards. That's when we can start to refine things. That's when we do our staff training. We align it with our people, our team, the goals that we want for the company, and then we're upskilling and progressing the whole company. A mission statement. So for me, this is crucial. I did a workshop, a program was 17 weeks long for Lidl. And in Lidl, they had this mission saying, Mary at the till. So everybody in the whole company understands the mission of the company. Everyone, from Mary at the till, to the cleaners, to the delivery people, to the warehouse staff, to the merchandisers, everyone knows what the role is. So in your company now, there should be a mission statement. And everybody on the team must know what that mission statement is. Do they have different roles? 100%. Do they have different actions? 100%. But they're still investing their time. But their investment in time is what we get paid for. But ultimately, we only get paid if the company makes profit. Otherwise, we can't. Some jobs, I won't name names in the government, that you can still have a job and get paid and not necessarily make results. But this is in the private sector. So we need to know the mission statement. Is it clear? Does everyone understand what the mission statement is? Do they know what their role is in relation to delivering that mission statement? Yes, you might want to be changing people's lives with certain drugs. Yes, you want to be, providing physiotherapy to rehabilitate people. Yes, you might be a chiropractor or a dentist or an accountant, and you have a certain skill set. But ultimately, the overall goal is to maybe take this pressure off somebody else and deliver a product at the end of it, or a service at the end of it. But we all have touch points. And touch points is where we as customers engage in a company. And if our mission statement is diluted with all our reactions, so for example, you go to a restaurant and you walk in, the concierge or the receptionist is really mean and just very bad manners. Their soft skills are terrible. That's not going to align itself with the mission statement of that company or that restaurant or that hotel. So it's fundamentally important that there's an underlying theme, there's a goal, or rituals or qualities or personal qualities that we look for in certain business goals, and then that is expressed with all the meetings you have. We've all been at those meetings because everyone's on the same page, and that's a team that moves forward because they're focused on themselves. They're not necessarily focused on the competition, and in my opinion, focus on the competition, you should be aware of them, but focus on yourself, your skills, your business moving forward is fundamental. So let's start to go through some staff training. So now let's get through to the nuts and bolts. And a lot of this content will cross over to 3 sections and even go into symposiums and conferences and so on. So staff training, for me, what I like to do is draw a little line. 2 little lines, and in the middle there, what we have is the actual content. So whether it be technology, whether it be pharmaceutical, whether it be physiology or finance, whatever it may be, that's the content. But beforehand, we need to set the stage. So what's the agenda? What's the topic that's going to be covered during this staff training? Who's going to be attending it? The attendees, because other people need to know who's going to be at that meeting. What is the time allocation for that meeting? What is the delivery? Where is the location? Is it online? Is it in person? What is the conference room? So you want things to flow. Anything that can go wrong. And FedEx have one that's called the horror hierarchy. What can go wrong? Well, what can go wrong? People go to the wrong room, don't have the right link, Wi-Fi isn't good, sound isn't good, lighting isn't good, can't see people, this person can't attend. And all these will dilute the effectiveness of the staff training. So who has to be there? What time is going to be at the location, the presenters? Is there too many attendees that you might need more staff? You might need assistant presenters at that workshop, or you might need equipment, or you might need projectors or whiteboards or flip charts or props or gadgets, or maybe it's a software that everyone needs to have X amount of software on their computer to demonstrate this, or we maybe send out some pre-material so they can understand it, so they get the maximum benefit of it. We don't want people to be reacting to information on the staff training. You want them to be responding and engaging in it. But if they don't know what they're going to be covering, they haven't prepped themselves, they don't know who's going to be at the meeting, where it's going to be, it sets everything off on a bad foot. Then what has to be crucially important is, what is the benefit of attending this staff training in the first place? What is your benefit of investing your time into this staff training as your role as a person on the team, as a person in the company, and fundamentally the benefit that it's going to have on the company? Preparation. What can you do to prepare yourself for an excellent workshop? So what I want to get this across clearly. When you attend the staff training, it is not all about the person hosting it. It's about you, your involvement, your contribution, your presence, your collaboration, your communication, and the staff training itself. You don't just outsource it. Oh, that's an hour that I have to go to and I go to that. That's not how it works. And a lot of times we did this in seminars where we fill up a glass of water. And if you go in to staff training with a full glass of water, or you know everything, there's no more room for you to actually take more content in. So what I say to you to do is just park a glass outside, and as a friend of mine has in his MMA gym, leave your shoes and your ego at the door. You're going in as somebody that's going to contribute positively to the staff training, to collaborate with people else on the team to a benefit. You're not going to listen, you know everything, because these people will distract from the benefit of the excellent workshop. They're not working as a team player, and then they're trying to take it all about them. What is a win? What does a win look like for the staff training? So let people know this is the agenda. This is what is going to benefit you. Please prepare with A, B, and C. And at the end of this workshop, a win will be, happy, clear, concise, beneficial. You'll understand A, B, and C from this workshop. That's what a win looks like. So set the stage for that. If I come into this presentation today saying, no, I'm not going to cover this content, they're not going to get it, that's what's going to happen. You focus on the positives. You go in with a focus on what a win looks like. Show everyone what a win looks like so they can walk the walk. So you're affirming a positive outcome towards the end. At the end of the workshop, what's the summary? How we hit our goal? Did we prepare everything correctly? What is a win? We just had a win. Thank you for your participation. Well, what is your participation? So for example, here, I can't stress you guys, but the last presentation you were at, the last staff training you were at, what was your participation out of 1 to 5? Give yourself a score. A lot of people will say 3. Not really good, not really bad, but I participated. I answered a question when the person asked me. I sat in the room and I wasn't on my phone too much. That's not good enough. So what I say to people, when you're at staff training, I want everybody to look at the person to the right, and out of 5, raise the hand, say how well that person contributed, that they participated in that meeting, where they engaging, where they engage in the content, were they present, were they on their phone, were they half talking to the person behind them, were they answering emails, were they giving positive contributions to what can happen, or offering their time, or offering to assist someone in different areas. Your participation is fundamentally important. Again, if you use a football team as an example, if you get past the ball and you keep losing it, you haven't performed well. And if you constantly don't participate and engage at these staff trainings, well, then my opinion should be maybe it's time for you to review this in your performance reviews, and maybe you shouldn't be on the team in the first place. We need to get feedback, not only from the people on the team, but also from the managers. Maybe that won't happen right in the staff training, and maybe that's not the place for that. But a note is made that your participation of all the workshops, of the seminars, of the staff training will be recorded. We don't want people dragging us down. We want people pulling us forward. We want people to the right and to the left of us to be collaborative, to be supportive, to be motivational, to be innovative, to be up in the game all the time. Scorecards, a lot of companies use them. Whether you want to use them or not, it's up to you. We all have certain strengths. We have, maybe it's an IT strength, maybe it's a soft skills strength, maybe it be innovation, maybe it'd be leadership, maybe collaboration, maybe communication, HR, whatever it is. We all have certain skill sets, and we should rank ourselves, or we should, and our team leaders and our managers should, because then we can say, well, Owen's soft skills are very poor, or Owen's IT skills are very poor. Well, maybe or poor, or need improvement, not poor, areas of opportunity that it can improve. Well, maybe Mary, who's very good on that, could work together, meet Owen once a week and help him improve on these components. But if you can't manage what you don't measure. So by identifying where in your skill set or your roles or your competencies that you need to be addressed, then we can work, and these staff trainings are ideally for that. So at the end of the staff training, if you're going to these staff training to improve your scorecard, but that's what we want. And then when we go through the process, we can collaborate with other people that need to be brought along as well. As a team player, it's crucial that we're all going for the same mission. It's the mission statement of the company. It's the goal of the team. It's the task. It's to collaborate with people on a regular basis, but we're team players. Mayfainers, people on their own, just looking to clock in and clock out. They're not people that we We need them on the team because they serve a certain purpose, but these are the people that we need to have more of a growth mindset. We need to link with them, engage with them, collaborate with them, so that they're a positive contribution to the team, because that's how things are moving forward. The times of people just going in, doing their hours and getting out and not collaborating, not working, not being profitable, not hitting the KPIs, not engaging with people, it has passed, in my opinion. So next we have a workshop. So again, focus on the last workshop you were at, and was it excellent? And what components of it were excellent, and where was the areas of opportunity? So again, we listed down, you can do this yourself before you plan an event, but who was coming? When we find out the attendees, or we're going to market something, or we're pitching something, or we're going to host something, who's going to attend? Are they male, are they female? Their age bracket, what we call the demographic of these people, the psychographic of these people, where they live, what's their daily activity, what do they enjoy, and then the more we do that, the more we understand the challenges. Maybe they're working long hours, or they've got kids, or they travel a lot, or they eat out in these restaurants, or they like this type of sport, or they struggle with low back pain, or they struggle with energy, or they've got sleep issues, or sleep apnea, or they've got skin issues, whatever it is, in any aspect of life, whatever workshop you're delivering, the more you know about the attendees, the better you can narrow down the content to be relevant to them. People want information that solves their problems. And if you know what their problems are, that's when we can solve it. So by understanding, by being empathetic about the challenge they have, by being an authority to be able to facilitate and help these people with the challenges they have. But me standing up here saying, oh, let me show you how to control your millions. You don't have millions when that's going to be over your head. I don't have millions, by the way. I have billions, I'm joking. So we need to make sure that the content is specific to the audience coming, because we're not going to make it happy. If you're going to go and watch a Marvel movie and a horror movie comes up, it's still a movie, but you're not going to enjoy it because that's not what you went for. You want to go for a certain content that can be used in your business. Then is the why. Why are these people attending? They like the content, but they could study this at home. Why are they attending? Because they want to outsource the education experience to you. They want to make sure that you deliver the content. They've heard that your workshops are engaging and memorable and innovative, and they want to know why. Well, what does this information do, and the benefits for these people? When you come to my seminar, you can upskill yourself, get a higher position in your job, earn better money, contribute better to the overall company. You come to my business, you improve your ranking in A, B, and C, or your skill set, or your CV, or your knowledge in this. It can reduce your time, help you work, help you be more productive in work. It'll help you have more energy at home. It'll help you sleep better. It'll boost your immune system. Whatever it is, that people need to know why. What the information is, what problem in your life it solves, and then why. Why does this person come? They want to live longer. They want to be more productive in their job. They want to improve their scorecard. Maybe it's a scorecard. That's where they're coming to see you. As a host, as a presenter, as a leader, we need to set the stage. The stage has to be set, and that goes from all aspects, whether it be online, whether it be in a convention, whether it be in a conference hall, whether it be in a hotel. We need to set the stage, every single thing, from signage to the bathrooms, to 2 or 3 screens in the room, to the setup of the chairs, to the water, to the tables, to the extra staff, to where the lunch is going to be, what type of lunch is going to be. Does it cater for all different people? The music in the room, the lighting in the room, the temperature in the room, the stage. You know, people that may be visually impaired. At one time, I went off and I learned certain sign languages because I was teaching fitness classes, and there was a guy in the class that was hard of hearing. Sorry, he was deaf. So I would sign language to him, certain exercises, and I positioned him in a certain place so we could lip read when I was on the stage. So there's always that more that you can do. I've trained people with lung transplants and liver transplants and kidney transplants. I've trained Paralympic athletes. So when you train these people, there's always something more you can do. And the more difficult you make something for somebody, the less they enjoy the experience. How they got into the hotel, the parking, how they got into the room, how they were met, greet, their kiddie bag, their chair, whatever it may be. We can always go above and beyond. Now, that might be more for a workshop, but components of this can be added into every single thing. We want to look after the attendees and deliver not only the information and an experience, but the whole journey from start to finish needs to be excellent. And if we sit down and take time to do this, we can get it done. World class. So So what is going to make your workshop world class? What's going to make someone go, you know what, I could go to this provider for education, but I'm not. I'm going to go to these guys because every single time someone comes back, they've got the content, they can apply it into the field, they have a different mindset, they engage with people better, and it was a world-class experience. I'm going to invest the time and money into this. When people come and see me and as a performance coach, I can guarantee I will reduce absenteeism. I can guarantee when I do my workshop program on corporate wellness, people have a better collaboration at work. They have more energy, they sleep better, their immune system enhances, they drop weight, they improve their fitness, and they work better. Their cognition is enhanced, they slow down aging. I can guarantee you that if I went into any business, and let's say I say, I'm going to charge you €250,000 a year, but I can guarantee I will treble that in results for your company. Why? Because I can make people be fitter for longer. I can make people make better decisions for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I can instill a schedule to enhance peak performance all the time. So when you deliver a world-class service, people will pay it because they realize that they get 10 times that in return. That when they invest into their staff, which fundamentally you invest in your staff, you're investing in the progress of your company and how it will innovate moving forward, and making your staff so educated, so collaborative. You never know what aspect of your business can go. We've all heard the stories of Google having staff members that went off and set up Facebook. For me, in other industries, there's guys that were in certain jobs and they were restricted, they weren't supported, and they went off on their own thing. And now their companies are even bigger than the companies were in the first place. So when you listen to your staff and you nurture them, that's when extraordinary things will happen. For me, feedback is fundamental. So in every regard, whether it be in any section of business, feedback is crucial, because feedback tells you what your customers like, dislike, and direct areas of improvement. So your focus groups are brilliant. When people invest money into you, into your service, into your business, these are the people that their feedback is invaluable. So I would force it. Anthony Robbins is a big fan of excuse me, enforcing people for negative feedback. I want something I can improve the next time. Please, maybe go and stop coughing. Next one is areas of opportunity. Where are my areas of opportunity of improvement, both from a presenter, from an attendee, from a host, from whether it be the notes, maybe people don't print notes anymore. Maybe the PDFs are sent out to the phone. For me, I'm not a big fan of people using phones in the actual room, but there's some really good apps that you can send out to people and give them questions of the content. So we do presentation A. So maybe that little drill that I told you, excuse me, maybe that drill I said, what did you learn? Well, maybe you send 5 questions out to, let's say there's 100 people in the audience. I've lucky enough to present to over 5,000 people in a room. That's not a situation where I could ask them offer feedback. But if that app had been around, I would have sent it out to them, answer these 5 questions, flick through on the presentation, and then I can see on my app if people got them right or wrong. And what that shows me is, 1, maybe I didn't deliver the information correctly, or 2, information was over to people's heads. So the more feedback and the more areas of opportunity you assess, the more you can refine things. And we need to improve. Constant evolution, constant improvement, as we have on the gym wall. Every day, get busy, getting better. Support. When people leave workshops, they're actually going to have more questions than when they came, because now they have information that they're going to start to implement in their job, in their practice. So whether it be an internal workshop or an external workshop, you need to support a follow-up saying, okay, thanks for attending the workshop. I hope you got the information from it. Let's have 2 webinar check-ins where you can submit some questions and we'll answer them, because when you start to implement the information you just learned, that's when you want more questions, you have more feedback. You need to have a channel or an opportunity to ask questions. And the last one there is community. You want to say thank you. Thank you for coming to my workshop. Thank you for participating. Thank you for learning. I appreciate your interaction, your engagement. We have this support for the next 2 weeks afterwards. But afterwards, we have a forum, we have a network, we have an email address. If you have questions, please let me know. We're here to align with each other. If there's aspects that you would like us to do for maybe other aspects of your job, we'd be happy to come in. And when we have the community, that's when we get referrals. That's when we get back into doing more business. And that's when we grow and escalate. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat here. So we're nearly there, guys. So next here is meetings. And again, all the stuff I talked about, from staff training, from workshops, can be addressed in the meetings. And I'm sure your company already has a set structure when it comes to meetings. For me, what I like to do is, again, the same system, put it down. How can I help? When you're going to a meeting, what is your contribution to the meeting? In my opinion, you shouldn't be asked to attend a meeting unless there's something that you can facilitate and support. So recently, over the last number of years, I've been involved in a tech company, and that's not my area of expertise. However, in my field, I would be a subject matter expert, as what they call me in these meetings. I understand the training, physiology, the hormonal system. So when it comes to wearables, when it comes to technology and how it can be integrated into fitness and training, nutrition, that's my field. So when the information is posed in the meetings, well, how can I help? So I prep on all the things that are out there. I do my research. So when I come to these meetings, that if they're dropping names or dropping lingo that I'm not familiar with, I'll stop them. And that's one of the things I'll say, no, guys, this LPC or fucking VIC, not what is that? Let me know beforehand. So when I get the agenda, which we've talked about, I'll research that. I'll know what I can do. Or when people come to the meeting, sometimes we did a meeting recently where a guy was looking to invest quite a lot of money into this. I didn't have a clue who this guy was, I'll be honest. So what I did was I went off and I researched him and all the companies involved in and all the other aspects of what he does. I found out about him. So when he was in the meeting, I was able to engage him with information that I knew that would get his ears up, knew that he knew what I was talking about. So without me necessarily introducing myself. And that's the thing, when I got onto that meeting, this guy's a very wealthy guy. He knew who I was already. He knew all my portfolio, who I'd worked with, what business I have. So already I had credibility that I wasn't necessarily pitching it to him. So I asked him at the end of the meeting, how did you know I did A, B, and C? He had his PA do research. That just shows you when people that get very far in life, they go that extra mile, they do that due diligence. He did a profile on me before we had that meeting. How can I collaborate? What people in that meeting and what content is going to be delivered that I can lend a hand to? I know I can help, but how can I, support them? Maybe I'll reach out to these people beforehand and say, hey guys, I know the meeting's on a Wednesday. These people are attending. Is there anything I can do to support you guys so the meeting goes successful? Because I want to win. We all want to win for the meeting. We want to win for the staff training. We want to win for the workshop. We want the company to progress, or do we? Or we just attend these meetings for the sake of it? We have to be proactively present and supportive at these meetings. Be present with excellence. Sitting there, arms folded, looking at your phone. That's not being present with excellence. We've all been in those rooms. And I walked into rooms before where guys are just low and just the atmosphere is low. We've been on Zoom meetings, so many Zoom meetings where guys are just sitting there and doing whatever. For me, I like to engage people, get them motivated, get them active, maybe crack a joke. That's something that you might need to err on the side of caution of. But when you engage with people, there's certain levels of engagement. And being dull, being monotone, not having your laptop set up correctly, not having the right amount of light, not having the right speaker, not having the Wi-Fi, all this distracts from a win. We all want to win for the company. We want to win for the team. We want to win for the progression of whatever company you're involved in or whatever the ultimate goal is. But be present, excellent. You don't have to overkill. There's people that are too much. Those guys are just too much. Just dial it down a small bit. But be present and be present with excellence. Over deliver. Be the person that you go, man, Owen is on the ball. Like, you seriously must spend time doing that. And what will happen to all the people around you? They'll go, I need to up my game. When there's one key player on the team can't all rest on one person's shoulders. But when somebody steps up, everyone else says, man, I need to step up. And maybe they'll lean on you to help them bring them up. And that's what people like us do. Well, not us do, but we all bring the level up because we instill and we look for excellence. And if we feck up, we mess up, that happens all the time. But because we're striving for excellence, people will give you certain going, he's trying new things, he's upskilling themselves. That's what we do. And we fail fast, we learn from it, we move on. There's a great quote saying, an expert is the person who's made the most amount of mistakes in the smallest field. Trust me, I've made a lot of mistakes, that's for sure. I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm working constantly to get there. Solution driven. When we go to meetings, if there is areas that need to be addressed, or you see something on the team, or you see something on the task, or you see something in the meeting that may be an issue, please don't be the person to say, well, that won't work, and this won't work, and that hasn't happened, and we tried this before. Be the person to say, I can see where things can go wrong, which they have in the past. So my solution or my proposal will be, is why don't we do it this way? Or we've tried to do this many times before. Why don't we bring somebody in, or we get a contractor or a consultant in that specializes in that? It might be a bit more money in the short term, but long term be better investment in our time and a better result later down the line. Be solution driven. Be positive, be collaborative, but this negative, that won't work, we haven't done it before. Come in with solutions, come in with resolutions, come in with something that's going to fix a problem rather than just identifying the problem. Then at the very end of it, be active. We need to be active and efficient. We need to make sure that we're active, that we do what we say we're going to do at the meetings, and follow throughs for the benefit of the company. As I use an analogy of the sales team, yes, selling more memberships, but selling memberships at a low price will actually overwhelm the company, overwhelm the membership, and not be making a profit if it's too cheap. So we need to make sure we're active, but we're being efficient with our activity, that we're hitting our tasks, we're hitting our KPIs, and the company is making money from that. Just being active. There used to be an ad in television where the guy has a cup of soup and he's walking around and he's looking really busy in the office, he's looking really busy, and does nothing. He just, going around with steam coming from his feet, but no work is actually being done. And nowadays, particularly in my profession, it's all performance driven. It's the service, it's the providing, it's the one-to-one, it's the attention to detail, it's the delivery. Either you do it well and people see that it's not been done well. You go to a restaurant and you get a bad meal, people aren't going back again. So again, it's all the different levels of being actionable, but of being efficient and profitable. Post-mortem. So one of the things that I like to do is there's always a situation when we can look back. I'm not going to dwell on looking back. As I say, there's two things. I did a podcast recently and I said, this is the Frozen principle. So there's two Frozen movies. The first movie is all about letting it go. Let it go. Okay. However, one thing that a lot of people haven't made mistakes. If you make a mistake in business, if you make a mistake in nutrition, you make a mistake in rehabilitation and relationships, identify what went wrong, learn from it, and move forward. If you make a mistake in business and you've cost a lot of money, for me, I've made mistakes and I've bought things and invested in things that didn't work out. I've told people about that. I haven't hid it. I haven't hid away. I've identified and let other people know mistakes I've made, because that was an expensive lesson. I want everybody to learn that lesson. So in your team, if you make mistakes, bring it to everybody's attention. I messed up, or Billy or Mac or John or Robbie messed up and this is what he did. Let's have an eye out so this doesn't happen again. Use it as a learning curve for the whole team, the whole company moving forward, rather than, no, that wasn't my fault, or that wasn't my fault, or that was somebody else, or pass the parcel, blame. Own it. Own your mistake, learn from it, communicate it, be transparent, be candid, be straight with your superiors, be straight with your team leaders, be straight with your managers. I messed up, I did A, B, and C, I shouldn't have done it for whatever reason, and then take it on the chin. But hiding it, diluting it, passing the parcel, that's not a team player. So retrospectively, we need to look back sometimes to assess what worked well and what didn't work well, and lay the path for moving forward. Autonomy. So this is crucial. The teams that do really well, the companies that do really well, are people that are driven, self-driven. They're not micromanaged. Oh, you have to do A, B, and C. When you communicate like this, when you are striving for excellence, that's when you get the autonomy, the freedom to drive yourself, to move forward, the ownership to just keep going. If you score yourself and you're constantly improving in certain areas, your managers, your partners, your directors will allow you that certain level to move forward and keep pushing things. And that autonomy, that self-driven business, that self-driven team, those self-driven professionals will bring the company to the next level, because you're supporting them, you're recognizing them, you're doing your performance reviews, you're appraising them, you're assessing them, and everything is moving forward. It shouldn't always be driven by one person. It's the whole team. And that's why the performance reviews, you constantly, for me, I like to have what's called speed checks, which you talk about, our staff praises, our performance reviews, that we're constantly moving forward. We can, but you can't. I like to use it like a sat nav. We have a location A, which is your start, and then your destination. It's never a straight line from A to B, but constantly checking that we're not rerouting will keep us on a track. So we constantly need to have feedback saying, no, Owen, we could work on these areas here. I like your contribution to this meeting. Maybe let's be a bit more solution driven. Or is there any aspect of your scorecard you feel like you need to improve? Or did you hit your targets this month? Or did you collaborate well? How do you feel you're contributing towards the success of the team and so on? But these performance reviews keep people in check, keep people actionable, keep people motivated, keep people happy that they're being assessed, they've been made aware aware of the progression through their company. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Just to let you know that this course is online. It's on laceyeducation.com. If you are interested in it, it's more for coaches, trainers, or gym owners, 5 minutes a day over 30 days. And it's webinar 50 for 50% off at the shop. So what I want to do is thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you got some valuable information from this. You have the ability to make this video slower if you want to slow me down or turn me off altogether. But again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you could share something on social media about the content or how you enjoy the information, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much and have a lovely weekend, guys.